Terry Crews went on Good Morning America and sat down for an exclusive interview with Michael Strahan, where he talked about what he endured at a party in Hollywood. Here is some of what he said yesterday.
I did not know this man.
So you did not know him before this?
I have never had a conversation with him, ever. Okay, I knew of him, and I knew just because it's an agency thing, but the first time I ever actually had an interaction with him was at this event. And I'm looking at him, and he's basically staring at me, and he's sticking his tongue out, and it's just overtly sexual kind of tongue moves. And I'm sitting there like, it's a party, it's packed, the whole thing, and I'm looking like, is this a joke? I mean, I don't understand. It was actually so bizarre. And he keeps coming over to me. He comes over to me. I stick my hand out, and he literally takes his hand and puts it and squeezes my genitals. And I'm jump back like, hey, hey. And he's like, and he's still licking his tongue out and all this stuff. And I go, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he comes back again. I have never felt more emasculated, more objectified. I was horrified.
Now, the agent in question is Adam Bennett of William Morris, head of their motion picture department, William Morris Endeavor. He actually has been suspended as a part of the investigation. And what's interesting about this is that Terry said that his wife had warned him years ago that, look, you're a black man, you're a big black man, and if you react in anger, it could have a negative impact on your career. And so here's a case of Terry Crews, who naturally wanted to beat the hell out of the guy.
Right.
But in a matter of seconds, Shannon, he began to think about, okay, all of a sudden, I've been booking lots of movies, lots of television shows. If I whoop this guy's behind, I could lose all of that because they would believe this powerful Hollywood agent over me. Well,
First of all, I got to give him a lot of credit for it, because the first response of most people would be to hit, period. If you,
that would have been an ass whooping. I'm just straight up.
Right.
I would have had a real good defense and a lot of witnesses, because
you in the next week.
Pretty much. So I got to give him some credit for some self-restraint on that. But now the other thing is, for this man to feel that he could do this is Terry Crews explains, it was a packed event, it was a social event, it was a whole bunch of people. So if he had reacted the way most people would have, he would have had a whole bunch of witnesses to say that he didn't start this, he was merely defending himself. So,
but I think his point, though, is what is critically important here, and that is when it happens, you are instantly thinking about my career. And what he said is, he said, I understand exactly what women think in terms of, if I say something, if I do something, it's going to have a negative impact on me.
It would.
In fact, it would
which is also why a lot of black folks don't file racial discrimination complaints, because, I might be the one who suffered, even though I wasn't the one who screwed up.
But the thing about it is,
It should go to my iPad. This is a photo of Adam Bennett.
Taking it back
this is the agent Terry Crews has accused of sexually assaulting him. Go ahead.
Put it in a broader context. I mean, we live in a capitalist patriarchy, and what that means is that people in power believe that they have other people, they can treat other people as property, women as property, men of color as property, maybe even white men as property, because they have the power. And so I too admire his restraint, because that man would have been, I don't know, Scott tells me that I'm not supposed to fight anymore. Because he's my lawyer. But the point is that this is what women feel. They feel extracted. I told someone the other day about way back in the day when I was in radio, I had a stupid boss who used to always say things to the point that I wore PJs to do night radio, because he would always make these suggestive comments. So I just started wearing real ugly PJs and sweatshirts, and then one day he said, well, I know what's under your t-shirt, and that's why I get a little tint whenever I see you coming. I said, it must be a real little tint. And he kind of left me alone. Left me alone after that, but I never felt like I could really bust him out, because I was doing fill-in radio, and I wanted shifts. Right. And you get shifts.
One paycheck.
Yeah, the other thing that's really interesting to me, and you touched on this, is that, okay,
this is a former football player, and this whole power piece of this white agent walking up to this guy and grabbing his genitals, and then the process, the psychological damage and process Terry Crews has to go through to not react physically because of who he is and the color of his skin. What is the ongoing psychological damage? Not just the women, because women aren't expected to, they're expected to fight back, but they're not expected to punch somebody out for this. I mean, you know, this crosses all male lines.
Well, in fact, he said it in the interview. He said when he heard the Weinstein stories come out, when the women were talking about that, he said, I realized I had PTSD. He said it brought all of that back.
Exactly.
He said, and I was just mad, I was angry. And that was one of the reasons why he came out publicly. He also filed a complaint with the LAPD as well. It is being investigated.
And he did this in front of his wife. In front of his wife, man.
That's predatory
He's got
capitalism.
5 kids.
He said it was at an event, for something dealing with Adam Sandler movie. He said, and he's Adam Sandler's agent. And Crews said he went up to Sandler and said, "Dude, what the hell's up with your guy?" He said even Sandler was like, "What in the world
was
he did
that?
What? What are you talking about?" And again, and what you're seeing is that as a result of Harvey Weinstein, there have been a number of talent agencies in Hollywood that have been firing agents who have been male and female. Who have been harassing folks. Then, of course, we see what's happening with directors and producers and things along those lines. And so I don't think for a second we're going to see the end of this, because what it boils down to is individuals who laying hands on folks and now having to pay the price for it. Also, what we must be very mindful of, and it's very interesting also, so you see the woman on Fox who was the attorney. I was tweeting about this here. So she went on Sean Hannity's show. They were, in essence, defending Roy Moore. And she essentially said on his show that there are a number of women who file these cases just to get paid. Well, that did not sit too well. She was a partner in a law firm. She was a partner in a law firm. She has now lost her job. I was tweeting about this last night.
Wow.
I'm going to pull out her name because her law firm was livid with her comments. And so they said, you got to go. And so now here she is saying, oh, she's defending lots of different cases. And then she, of course, went on Twitter and she was apologizing and explaining this is what I meant. But she no longer is a partner in a law firm.
None of these women are there for a paycheck. These women are not suing. They're not doing civil lawsuits. They're just coming out. You know, and there are women. I mean, this is an interesting fact, Roland. The woman who did the press conference, Roy Moore's wife was her high school classmate.
Wow.
You know, which is kind of fascinating.
Southern Alabama.
Yeah, you know, well, I guess he was just trolling for young girls.
All right.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.